Hey guys, this is Gamer Cal. Welcome back to the Genius of Sephiroth Weekend Edition. So, last time we got some more stuff. Well, technically last time I guess we went through the Scarlet Devil Mansion and all that fun stuff, but yeah, last time we got some more items and all of the fun stuff, and this time we're going to take on Remilia, and that ought to be fun, right? So, before I do these bosses, what I very quickly want to show is roughly how I'm set up, so that if, people are struggling with stuff that way, they can see, what to do. It's a kind of straightforward fight when you take one thing into account, this one, but it's, good practice to sort of do this anyway, so I got the fairy dress for Marissa, but it honestly doesn't matter if you don't have it, it just gives her a little bit extra defense, so there is that. All of this is basically the same as the stuff we had before, but Aya also has the pot lid, so 10% of the time she will get some extra defense against any attack type, which is nice, but again, not necessarily going to play too much of a role here. Mostly I want to show the growth tree stuff. So, with Marissa right now, I'm basically just going full-on magic tree. One thing I probably should have said, if you're just grinding like general enemies and stuff, it is quite nice to have 3 points in your broom tree, or if you're using a staff, to have it in the staff tree instead. Because then every time you do a physical attack and you actually land it, 1% of the damage that you deal goes back into your MP, so you basically can use your magic attacks more often and just do blunt physicals to recuperate the losses. So that can be quite nice, you just get some regen for nothing. But right now I'm going into magic because the power is really good. Magic attack plus 15 at this stage of the game is ridiculously good, so definitely nice to have that. For Reimu, there's a couple of things I'm doing here. I don't really need this barrier tree stuff specifically because of the way I'm gonna work around that, but it's nice to have anyway, double the speed of your barrier stuff, because that will play a role in this fight for sure. You could actually go all the way into needle damage plus 10% for this fight. That would not be a bad idea, but I'm just gonna have a little bit of extra magic attack and light element strength here, just because I feel like it's probably gonna outweigh stuff anyway. And then the concentration tree, I have it at 3 points because the recovery from ailment stuff is quite nice. Again, not too necessary if you don't want to fight all the enemies and get the power and stuff, or if you haven't managed to get to 8 power yet. It's not a big deal, but it's nice to have anyway. For Aya, which is not actually Aya, it's Sane. I, for some reason, thought Aya was the next one, whatever. Sane, I've basically just got some extra HP, some recovery skill cooldown, because that's kind of nice. Mostly for the bomb skill. It's quite good to have that for the party heal, and just status increasing speed up to try and make sure that works out. And then Aya, finally, I made sure that her magic cooldowns are down 1 so that I can use her magic attacks every turn. Most of her stuff is physical, but her turn manipulation stuff is magic based, which will probably come into play at some stage anyway. And then just generally everything else here. I don't even need the electric resistance, but there's nothing else that I particularly want. I guess I could have physical skill casting instead, so we'll just put that there, because electric resistance really doesn't do anything for Aya at the moment. But yeah, that's just generally what we've got. So, let's take on Remilia, shall we? But not just Remilia, because Nitori happens to be here too. Now what's Nitori doing here? That's the real question. I mean, Nitori isn't exactly known for being a guest of the mansion, right? But anyway, we are now discussing Sakuya's original tea blend again, because yeah, Sakuya tested it on Patchouli and then is like, hey, this is really good, let's give it to the mistress then. Indeed she is. Let's just move on from that. Let's just move on from that. Oh dear, that's not the topic for just now. So anyway, yes, what brings us here indeed? Nothing in particular? Yeah, that's... Yep, missed and like and all that, blah blah blah. Look at that pouty face, that is so good. The expressions in this game are just ridiculously good, I have to say. Couldn't sleep anymore because of the mist? Yeah, okay. But yeah, Remilia's gonna get kind of I forgot how good the Tory thing was there. Oh dear, it's been a while since I've seen some of these. But yes, it's a missed instant, and we all know who's done the missed instant before, and Remilia thinks it's a ripoff, so quite clearly Remilia is not the culprit behind all of this. And yeah, she's really, really irritated by all of this, as you would expect from Remilia, being kind of a little bit bratty, I guess. But yes, why doesn't she go herself? Because, well, she's a vampire, and that kind of plays a fact here. Yes, because she can't go out in the sunlight, etc. So, yeah. So she thinks it's an insult to herself, of course. Yikes! Troll face Nitori. Oh dear. Yes. Pretty bad mood indeed. Yep. Well, you could fix that, right? But I wouldn't do that. And yes, indeed, we are here to smug Remilia face, because why not? Wait, you could have seen them from there, Nitori. You already knew it was these girls. Like, come on. I finally found you. Okay, so apparently Remu's really happy to have found people here, but Remy doesn't really know what the hell's going on, right? And yeah, because Remilia is pissed off, she's looking for an outlet, and Remu is apparently a pretty good outlet, so... And yes, Nitori is here. Just a little bit. I was kind of surprised the first time I played this as well, to see these two together. Pretty unlikely partnership, I would say that much. Lots of things happen, blah blah blah. Smug Remilia is smug. So, yes, of course, you could have seen Sane there too. Well, I guess technically she was standing behind Remu, so... And yeah, very much appreciating the cucumbers, I guess. Pretty good. Kappa brand. Who really cares? According to Remu, this is all frivolous and we shouldn't be dealing with any of it. And yeah, of course, Remilia has to be behind this instant, right? Same thing before, except it was a lot different before, but you know. Except this mist isn't even red, Remu, you're colorblind. Or maybe just dichromatic, like, you know. Simple-minded indeed. Yeah, I agree, actually, but hey. Yes, Marissa's just thinking what we're all thinking. And, yep, that's that's kind of the whole outlet thing coming on here. If basically Remy says that it was her, then we will beat her up, right? I will punish you! Yes, this is the earnest Sanai's opinion on all this, I guess. You won't Master Spark because you don't have it equipped, but that's as good a thing as any to say. So, yeah, Nitori's like, hey, this is a good time, let me join in. So now we have to fight her as well, because reasons. And there we go. All of the gadgets and the Spear of Gungnir will be stress relieving. So, fight time with an unlikely partnership of Nitori and Remilia. So, Nitori, let's just say she's not going to last very long here, but you kind of want to take her down first because fighting two enemies at the same time is annoying, and I think Nitori is generally the higher damage dealer in this fight. However, she is very weak to fire, and I mean very weak to fire, and with the offensive power that I've given Marissa just now, the 10% affinity to her Stardust attacks and the magic attack plus 15, she's gonna do a lot of damage with this here. That's definitely a good thing. Obviously, you don't want to be doing tiny amounts of damage. So with that, in the meantime, unfortunately the small AoE is not enough to get both of them with Extermination, but it doesn't really matter too much. And we'll just have a basic attack, and we shall have our evasion raised with Sanai. So, Remilia always starts off with Spear of Gungnir. It doesn't really do a whole lot of damage. You see there 234 damage with that one attack. That's kind of ridiculous. However, yeah, Nitori does a lot more damage than Remilia on the whole, so you definitely want to take Nitori out first. But you can see we did basically half of her health in one go there, so it won't take too long to take her down, that is for sure. Now, in the second turn, you're going to want to use this evil sealing circle here and block out permanent status. And just to make sure that it goes off before the nasty attack here, I will also use Illusionary Dominance. So this is Aya's main spell card at the moment, and basically all of your other attacks will go before the enemy, guaranteed, on the turn that this is used. Aya typically will always go first against, above everybody else in your party. And yeah, you can easily get this move away before too much happens. I'm just going to heal Reimu as well with the single target here, just to make sure that she doesn't cop it before too long, because Reimu, obviously, Remilia is a being of darkness, so she is very good here, and you see 297 damage. So Nitori just kind of goes down without too much of an issue, and here is why you want to have the evil sealing circle. So what that would do is red magic will attack all of your party and inflict the charm status. Now, we saw in the last part that charm is a mind control status that basically means that your allies will attack each other until it wears off. If that afflicts, and that red magic actually has a very high chance of inflicting that status, so you are very likely to have your entire party afflicted with that if you do not block it. And that's a death sentence right there. If your entire party is inflicted with charm, especially if you're like me and you don't have Mokou and Byakuren, then you're pretty much screwed. There's not really a whole lot that you can do about that, and most of the time you're just going to get picked off. Now, I don't think Remilia will do that attack again. She might do it after 5 or 6 turns. I forget exactly how long it would be, because this fight shouldn't last that long now. She is, of course, weak to light, as we've established before, so just hit her with light attacks, and that's pretty much it. I guess we could cast a resistance buff with Sanai, but honestly there's not really a whole lot of point. We'll just save Sanai's MP for healing, because, well, healing is kind of important, especially for our spellcasters. And you see, even with the light weakness, Marissa is so strong that she actually slightly outdamages Reimu. Granted, Marissa did get a full power buff from Nitori, but yeah, she very heavily outdamages stuff here. Extremely powerful. And yeah, Spirit of Gun is a piercing attack, so you can be hit from the front and the back with that, so just be careful of that. And Remilia really shouldn't take too many turns. I guess this should just about be it, so we'll just use a stronger attack there, and just in case we'll party heal, just to make sure that nobody dies, but really this should be over right now. And indeed it is. There we go. So that's the gist of this fight. You just have to make sure that you don't get hit by the charm, and as you see we get 1,000 power there, but only 100 of that 1,000 is actually usable. The reason this is done is basically no matter what power you have, you will always get a level up after a boss fight. That's pretty much why they've done it this way. So yeah, Marissa levels up. Well, everybody levels up, obviously, so we get some extra stats. We get a Poison Beak with Aya, which is quite nice. And we get the variety dispelling buff that I was talking about before for Sana, just healing off variety status with Miracle of Dispel. I don't tend to use that one quite a lot because it's single target and it really just doesn't do a whole lot, but if you need to dispel variety status for whatever reason, like if you have a big ass debuff on you, then you can do that. Yeah, I kinda got beat. And Remy kind of didn't get stress relief off it, but hey, took quite a while. Yep. So of course Reimu is like, you're the bad guy, make it stop, and Remy can't do that. Bit more incentive, yeah, but I don't think we need to beat her up again. So yeah, what we're trying to say is Remy isn't the one that's causing all of this, you dolt. No. Well, yeah, of course, Remy's in a bad mood. This is Remilia we're talking about here, so that is indeed it. That is the nature of Gensokyo, Sanai. So basically we just played along with what Remilia wanted. Yep. Such a bother to have. You're one to talk. As Remy picks up on as well. I'm sure you will. So yeah, whoever is behind this is basically really pissing off Remilia with all of this. And the light bulb comes in. That is not how I would have pictured Reimu saying that. I mean, Marissa kind of has that sort of tone in this game, but Reimu, not really. So yeah, who on earth could it be? And Nitori just doesn't know anything, obviously. She doesn't really care because Kappas are fine. And yeah, the Yokai Mountain doesn't really care too much about the mist either, so that's what the Tengu and Kappa Society are like. They just sit back and observe. And that's kind of what you're doing, I suppose, except you're kind of actively trying to solve it at this point. Yeah, so you're not really doing it too well, but... So, Suikara Tenshi is who Reimu thinks it is now, huh? Her famous intuition is going to be telling that. But... spoiler alert, these two are not finished yet. So, Pachi and Sakuya didn't exactly help out too much for stopping us, but that is fine. because yeah, Remilia kind of didn't escape the punishment that she wanted, I suppose. Remilia's kind of a masochist when you think about it, but oh well, what are you gonna do, eh? So yeah, Patch is like, we should investigate magic areas. Could you make it a bit easier to understand? If it feels like magic, then you go to a place that has a lot of magic. Yeah. That's pretty much what you would expect. So, who do we know that's a magician that isn't Marissa or Patchouli? So, well, that's kind of what we've got to work with at the very least. And, well, yeah, it basically leaves Byakuren and Alice. And Byakuren, well, we saw at the start of the game, and we actually saw in the quote-unquote part 0.5 that Byakuren was out investigating this, so it cannot be her. Plus, she's also a massive friend to the yokai, so she wouldn't do it on principle. So apparently Alice is the culprit then, right? Well, theoretically. So that's where we're going then, to the Forest of Magic. Right? And yes, there is the possibility the culprit is hiding there, blah blah blah, so that is what we're doing. We are going along, and Remy is like, I'm not done yet, pay attention to me, because that's what she does. So apparently Patchouli and Sakia are coming along too. Well, that kind of works, but they didn't exactly know that until now, so heck yeah, right? She's like, what about you? But yes, Remilia can't go out, and she's extremely pissed off at this whole situation, so she's going to send her lackeys in to deal with it. Patch, on the other hand, kinda has other ideas. She really does not like going out and stuff here, so yeah, Patch really doesn't want to do it. But Remy's like, I am not in a caring mood. I am pissed off enough as it is, you are going, and that is final. At least you can go outside. Totally not salty, what are you talking about? Yes, it's the best animation. Hat eating. Try not to completely demolish that thing before we're done, would you? And Saki's like, well, there isn't really any way you're getting out of this, Patch. So just suck it up and go outside. You're not gonna find that there as much as you would like to. So let's just go. How quickly her mood changes. What a brat she really is. And Nitori's like, hey, this sounds like a lot of fun. I'm not exactly doing anything else, so let me come as well. And sure, why not? We'll take Nitori along too. Sure. So yeah, now instead of a 4-member party, we have 7, because that's just how quickly times change.